What's up, app and SaaS founders? So today we're going to actually discuss about the brute list, or is that even a word? The most depressing, literally the worst metric in the entire world for any SaaS or any software, which is churn. I've used user drop off away, which is a fancy word for newbies, so you just don't get depressed a lot. But churn is essentially the biggest, the most important metric that really would make you uncomfortable about growth. But if you want to scale your product, churn is the key, literally the key. LTV to CAC, churn, which is essentially retention, is the most important metric for any apps. In a few days, you just lose almost every single user of your that just installed the app. For any SaaS, you have a massive churn. If you just do not have any churn, if you do not have churn less than 3%, then you just have to watch this exact video, because most of the times probably profile stage is the biggest issues that is causing churn. Now again, for any SaaS, etc., you have to kind of get the user a feeling of home, like it's a home, not a house. So profile is essentially very important, because that's kind of a biodata of the user. If they're actually paying for your service, they have to get this feeling of safety, trust, like there is something that you have done for them as well, which is like a give or take relationship. That's why profile is essentially very important. So completing a user profile is a high friction point in most apps and SaaS. If mishandled, it leads to major drop-offs, and this document actually kind of outlines about that only. Now, majorly you have to understand that profile has to kind of navigate the user about what they would want to see, but also with what they would prefer to see, with also their literally their information. So the user feels at home. That is the main essential part, and design has to be very great as well. So immediately what happens with the drop of courses and immediate UX solutions for the exact thing, too many fields shown immediately, just a complete biodata like a government website, to fill the form of this job, etc. This is, and they don't have any motivation to complete. There is no visible progress. They do not know what to do. If I'm sending a file via Bluetooth to say my mobile to laptop or PC, and we see this progress bar on the Bluetooth, I know that you have seen it. If that wasn't there, and I was sending this file, I would have no idea how long it will take, and that would just make me like, whoa. Even you can just feel that feeling. Progress bar is absolutely important in profile stages. Like, to be honest, this is a lot of information about this is kind of still outdated, because I have not added the guaranteed UX workflows that we use for our clients, which is kind of splitting the stack of profile. So we're really good for that. But yeah, this is a kind of a good starters. So add progress bars, add visuals and photo previews, micro animations to get the user a pump to use the feel this exact stuff, to kind of feel like there's something more to come, and having the performance and stuff faster, compressing media, and literally showing instant previews about what is about to come or what is exactly happening over here. Don't really be laggy, don't really be heavy, and there you have to kind of like solve some problems, which is privacy, fears, etc. You have to be really compliant with their preferences with profile, etc. For any SaaS, if they have to pay, they have to curate the profile. That is why profile is literally a big portion of user health, and directly a big reason for churn, increase or decrease of the churn, honestly. So technical bugs, no celebration of the failure. This is the game changer. So now I'll just kind of give you a reference of what exactly you can incorporate for your profile. Don't have a literal form. It's making no sense. Split the forms into multiple categories, multiple options. At the same time, remind the user why they would like to complete the profile of their SaaS. What is they wanting? Like initially, if they can, you just have free, like you have credit-based systems or your free SaaS, like probably a free trial for that. Use this thing for this exact thing. Like if you have a video generation SaaS or image generation AI SaaS, you can just have this much usage free, and you just get the user to do something, try the paid product, and then you have the profile set up probably, and you just have like, okay, the motivation is to get the user to sign up so they can do something. So for example, with flat icon, which is a icon based stuff, for you to edit the icons for the UI, etc., you have to sign up, and that is a big leverage, because you have to do that. There is a reason for that to happen. So it kind of split the users, and at the same time the user is kind of impulse to get that exact stuff after the profile setup. You have to get the thing after that. You understand kind of what I'm trying to say? That's like a reward after the hard work. And the hard work also has to be split into multiple categories with instant reward in between as well, instant motivation in between as well, instant progress bars in between as well, and a good UI. So major UX problems and solutions of that. Cognitive overload. You just have a multiple, like a form, literally a form, a pamphlet of like fill your name, fill your biodata, fill your birth date, fill your age, fill your death date, literally everything about it. Fill your credit card. Seriously. Poor entry timing, asking for profile completion before user even understand app or SaaS value is literally the biggest problem, literally the biggest issue. You have to give them a value and you have to hook like bait the user for more value before actually having them to curate most of their profile stuff, you know, and kind of really diversify the asking and adding additional and a lot of optional fields behind, add more or skip more or whatever, like view more stuff, and adding like allow quick browsing or limited access and prompt profile completion and actual points. So essentially having a better timing of entry of where the profile would come, or profile as a timeline, or any kind of tutorial about the app or SaaS would come. That's very important, literally very important. So having that in place, having literally the stuff kind of scattered rather than just complete food. So it's essentially about doing 100 push-ups right away and doing 10 push-ups then break, 10 push-up then break, 10 push-up then break. So you would want to do that 10 push-up and break kind of stuff more, because there's just not overload, no physical overload, no pain kind of overload. So this is essentially about that, and no progress feedback. Have the user to understand what exactly is the time and effort required for that, so they can drop off. Essentially, you want them to drop off if they don't want to do that, because you want them on the software, on the SaaS. Boring and static form design. Have the design absolutely good. Design is literally non-negotiable. Performance issues. This is the from the deployment side. Don't have a big messy and laggy and buggy stuff. Have it compressed. Makes sense. Don't load everything which is not necessary. Load the exact stuff. Have if you are adding visuals a lot, just try to make sure the visuals actually kind of relate to what the user would want, to be very honest, and it should make some sense rather than just putting pixels just to look visually appealing, because then you would never be able to compress it. So you have to be by performance as well, you have to be fast, lag free, but also it has to be visually appealing as well, and privacy concerns, it's the exact same stuff, in detail. So the main solution with the privacy concern is having use icon logs next to sensitive fields like a password. Like this is the main like password, having this stuff, and mini explanation that why email would be used, etc. This like literally to kind of give them a glance and give them a human touch, whatever kind of information they're filling up. Like they're filling up their credit card for a free trial or a paid trial or whatever, just kind of make sure to add that human touch. But don't try to be insanely human, but be human. That is what I'm trying to say, and sense of achievement. Make them feel that after doing something they have that reward that they're given. Like if they're actually traveling through this desert, getting onto the farms, getting onto this orchard or the garden of apple trees, they should get the apple. Honestly, they should get the apple. Simply, they should get that woo. They should get that main goal after completing all of that. They have to get that. You have to understand this absolute thing. This is how humans operate. No matter even the human is a founder or a manager or a literal normal human being, this is how humans operate. Give them a sense of achievement for their progress. Show them what progress is going on. Be visually appealing. Literally give them small rewards in between the process as well. A reason, a motivation to do that, which is either the reward after that or the pain of not doing it. Not doing the profile setup, which is like losing the ability to do this thing, losing the ability to make money, losing the ability to get leads, losing the ability to get fit, honestly, multiple different, whatever the use cases is for your case. An ideal profile completion flow. So this is like kind of a flow that you can kind of have a glance in your mind. A normal welcoming screen about the full profile, or kind of a glance of what exactly after would look like. So essentially you can just have a reward based system over here, reward introduction. Then you start with the asking some slow questions, the slow stuff, which is like just initiated, give or take. You don't want to ask the credit card or debit card initially before even asking their name, honestly. This stuff has to be, this name etc stuff has to be done initially in the onboarding. But if by any chance you're not doing that, then you get this thing done by that. And you also have the, like, if this is a SaaS, like if this is a SaaS screen, if this, like for example, if this is a SaaS screen, okay, this is a software screen, then you ask about this thing etc over here, then you have some information, some testimonials etc over here, like example top tile, show progress bar etc, this and that. And the main metrics that you have to track post implementation is profile completion rate, very important, time to complete profile, very very important, very important, and drop off funnel, where exactly the user user abandon your profile. So if for example, as an example, the profile completion rate is like 70%, let's just say, and the time to complete the profile was on an average 100 seconds. So 70% was the completion rate, 100 seconds to complete that. So that was the overall drop off. Just a second. Yeah. So if you, like for example, you have normal 70% completion rate, 100 seconds to complete the profile, and you have a drop off at uploading the image or putting up the credit information or something like that, then you can understand that where exactly the completion rate is dropping the most. So for example, if 20% loss is actually happening right at the uploading the profile etc, then you have to make that subtle, or you have to deprioritize it if it's not necessary. So that is how do you have to understand. So metric is very important to track. Most of the things are actually in UX generally, but yeah, whatever the feature after the profile completion the user is actually using, so you have to kind of prioritize it. And what is the what is the bounce rate from the profile, which is important as well. And generally for the industry references, LinkedIn profiles with full completion get 21x more views and 36x more opportunity. This ends up being a very good reward system as well. Very good reward system as well. And a lot of different examples from over here, like Amplitude Analytics was that progressive onboarding increases retention by 15 to 20%. So kind of having a onboarding which also gets the stuff done, like like name etc done by that. So you have already 50% of the complete profile done during the onboarding. And if your SaaS is essentially profile completion as an onboarding, then you just have to remind the user of pain etc and reward etc during the process. Very very important. And yeah, so final UX pictures, principles for reducing drop off, the same thing that we have discussed, same repeated stuff. As a normal stuff that you have, as a normal metric in your mind that you have to kind of track is visually it should look good. Progressive disclosure. Track your metrics after that. Have a humanized form, like have colors, avatar, etc. Build some trust. Have a progress bar during that process, or a step by step, how many page is there left or how much time it will take. Humanizing information, where is that, like if there is a drop off at adding their address, you have to add that CTA, like text about that, or it's all fine adding the address, or you have to make it much more subtle, much more faster to kind of comply that, kind of go against that. So yeah, that's essentially about it is. And whatever your user flow is, there's a lot of constraints. I like this image honestly, and a lot of references over here as well. This like if you just reduce drop offs by 30 to 40%, you can just easily do that by these adding these couple of options. Like seriously, that I was repeating in the video as well. And if you want a free UX audit for your app in SaaS, drop a message, drop a comment or something, or you can get in touch with me on my LinkedIn or via the profile, and when getting done, we'll analyze your product and we'll definitely